Deck. I'm going to show you guys how I do the fish deck so everybody can check it out. This is the fish deck outline, and you get this in my little book, or sometimes I send it in the little packaging when people buy stuff. Anyways, I'm going to show you how to make the fish deck today. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna make sure you do your outline of your on your mold. You know, you outline the mold with a pencil so you know where to cut it and stuff. So here we go. Okay, I almost cut the tails off, you know, to make them round, but I forgot the fish is a little bit longer, and plus you don't want to cut the tails until you stick the template on the board. So let's grind down and make these edges flat, make them nice and smooth and straight. Okay, I'm going to use the disc sander to get these lines nice and straight and sanded down to the size of the deck, okay? It's a big disc sander. I love this guy. But if you remember my video before with the Craftsman sander, the disc sander and the belt sander, that guy is awesome too. I mean, for the size and everything, that thing is awesome. Okay, so here we go. Okay, get it right up to that line. That's why that line's there, so you make a nice straight sanding job right there. So everything's nice and sanded. And like I said, when it's dark wood, you can barely see that pencil, but you gotta try to keep your eyes on it. That's good. So what I'll do is now is I'm going to stick the fish template on there. I'll leave the sander on. Okay, so just a regular piece of paper or cardboard or something so you can spray. I'm going to spray again the 3M77 on the back of the fish template. Okay, and that's how I'm going to stick it to the board. And it's the quickest way for me, and then you know, you gotta sand the paper off at the end, but it won't come off the board until you want it to come off. So anyways, you take your board. Remember, the most important thing is make sure you line those wheels up to where you want them on the deck. Okay, just kind of eyeball it, and then you can pick it back up too if you get it wrong. So anyhow, you put it down, and that looks good. So anyways, there you go. And you just push it down with your hand, and you're set. Now you got a little extra in here, but you can use the bandsaw. But you know what I'm learning is that I don't really need that bandsaw if I have a sander. So let's go back to the sander. Okay. Alright, here we go. So I gotta take that much off, and watch how fast this is. This is pretty fast. Alright, I think that's it for the sanding. Now if you look at this board, you still got a lot to do, because you still gotta sand this down, because you can't get it with a straight edge. You gotta go in there with like my tongue depressor sanding sticks. My sanding sticks, or maybe a sanding block, and then the back end you gotta make yourself, I'll show you. Hang on a second. Okay. And we're going to do, see the ribs? I'm going to show you. This is the easiest way I know how to do the ribs. And let's see. And then if you have an easier way, let me know. But here we go. So what I do is I get a drill bit that's close to the diameter of the ribs right there. Okay, so what I do is turn it on. And I just eyeball it pretty much. And hold it kind of strong. You could use a clamp to hold it down if you want. Probably a good idea, so it doesn't get away from you. Okay, now it should look like this. See all those drill holes? Now I don't have to go back and really clean up the inside of those, which it'll help a lot on the cleanup. I mean, I'll still have to do a little bit, but not a lot. Okay, and then I'll take this off, and I'll find a drill bit that's close to the eyes, because you got to do the eyes too. So the eye is oval. Oval eye. So. Now, you could use the drill a little bit. Put it up there and run the eyeball a little bit. Make it a little bit oval. Be careful though. Make sure it's oval. There you go. It's a little bit off, but that's good enough. Now that mouth. The mouth is kind of hard too. I mean, you could take a X-Acto knife, or you could take maybe you take the bandsaw and cut it a little bit. Okay, we're back at the bandsaw. I was thinking, if you didn't have a bandsaw and you still had the a Dremel, remember this is a little sanding grinder, and this is what you could use to cut the mouth out too, and the ribs. You don't need a bandsaw, but I'm going to show you that real quick. So you turn it on, and you can go in there to the mouth. You go in there. Actually, that's really worked really well. I like that. So the Dremel is probably the best way to do the mouth. Now, I think the bandsaw would be better, be easier in this situation. So what you do, and then sometimes when I have bandsaw, I'll use a piece of wood. Just get a piece of white wood. Put it in there like that, because now something this little I can just go in there. Okay, now I cut all the ribs out. They're all cut out, but they're really rough, okay? I'll show you how to do that in a second. Now, the next thing is, you could use your Dremel again. You take off that little cutter and then stick on your little drum sander. Remember, the drum sander is really nice to have on the Dremel, because you can use it in your hands, pretty easy. And you have to round the head a little bit better to make it a little bit nicer. Okay, and nice thing is for the tail. The tail, you still got to get inside there and clean all that wood up. So you can turn get the Dremel on there. And you can do the Dremel real easy in there. But now, if you didn't have the Dremel, you can make the little sanding rod. Okay, so this is it actually works pretty good too. So you just get that in there and start sanding. So this is if you didn't have a sander, you'd use this thing. If you had a sander, I mean a Dremel. If you had a Dremel, you just plow through this stuff real fast. Really fast. But if you don't, I mean, you can make your own tools. Don't forget that. You can always make tools to do stuff. I mean, that's how people do it. I mean, you don't have a tool and they don't make that tool, well, you just make it. Especially sanding tools. You can make sanding tools. They take some time, but hey, just do them. So anyways, there you go. That looks pretty good. Looks not bad. Okay, so this is going to be, if this is the sanding, this would be my finish sanding tool too. I mean, I'd go around and make sure I got the whole thing nice and smooth. Okay, remember the my sanding sticks. Okay, so these sanding sticks work really, really good for the fish board because you can round the sides and you have a lot of control. There's a lot of control here. So you just go around, and even though, see how, I don't know, see how big all that stuff is? Now the sanding stick will tear all that stuff down pretty quick. Pretty quick. And then these, you think these are hard, but they're not that bad. You just go back and forth, back and forth. Just make sure you get everything. And, you know, I left those ribs a little bit long, so you can sand it down with the sander. It'd probably be a little bit better than trying to sand them down with just the sanding stick. But see how the sanding stick gets around all those curves so easy, and then and it just, it's a lot easier than trying to do it with just a piece of sandpaper. So I recommend, if you're going to do a fish board, either get a sanding stick or make something that's sturdy enough to go around the corners. Because as you can see, it does take some doing. It's kind of, just take a little time. And then I would recommend like maybe 80 grit. I'm using 100 right now, and 100's okay. But when you're doing so much, 80 grit would probably be a little bit faster and better. Okay, so just keep sanding. It does take a while. It's not just like you can whip through these, because the ribs are definitely tougher than just sanding a flat, straight edge. There. So then that side's done. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the other side, but I'll do it really fast so it doesn't take. I'll be right back. I think that